Porter Williams.
Tēnā koe, Mr Speaker. I too rise in support of this piece of legislation. There's just a couple of points I want to make. I know that we should actually ensure that this bill passes tonight, and I will be doing my utmost, but I do just want to make a couple of points about this particular bill. The process has to be commended. The ability to have input from Canterbury members from across all of the parties engaged in the discussion has been really useful, and I think has encouraged all of us to think that there are better ways to engage your parliamentary colleagues from across the House when it comes to matters of such significance as with dealing with the earthquakes in Canterbury. And I would encourage other members to, when other pieces of legislation are being developed around this, to use similar processes. The officials on this were very open to suggestions that were made by my colleagues on this particular piece of legislation, and I commend the Minister for that. The submitters were primarily the Council and that group of surveyors who were clear that there were some things that they needed to ensure went into this piece of legislation. Firstly, of course, it was that those interim surveys that were conducted during those first few months and years after the earthquake, that they could be validated under this piece of legislation. Secondly, to ensure that all of the variances that occurred with the movement of land, whether that be through lateral spread, whether that be through movement up and down, whether that be through the impact of liquefaction, that was all considered when the boundary legislation was redrawn. And thirdly, that there was a disputes process and a remediation process that was included in the legislation, and all of these protections have been put in place. This is a good bill. It will go a long way to giving comfort to property owners that their boundaries are valid, that the surveys are valid, and I commend it to the House.